we were catching up with President Obama, who's in South Africa to celebrate Nelson Mandela's 100th birthday. And let's just acknowledge how dope you have to be for people to keep throwing you birthdays after you're dead. Just think about how amazing you have to be. Like, most of you can't even get your roommate to come to your party and you're alive. Yeah. It's like, dude, what do you mean you can't come over? We live in the same room. So who was Nelson Mandela to get Obama to take a break from kite surfing and go all the way to Africa to give his first big speech since he left the White House? Well, really, there are two Nelson Mandelas. The first is played by every black actor in Hollywood.
My name is Nelson Mandela. I'm the first accused.
I have dedicated myself to this struggle of the African people.
Those in power deny your freedom. The only path to freedom is power.
I will walk to the quarry, but I will no longer run.
It is not your place to tell me what is possible.
This is the time to build our nation.
Ignorance brings chaos, not knowledge.
Now, I know a lot of people complain that she takes roles she shouldn't, but I think she nailed it there. She killed it. She was pretty good. Scarlet can act, yo. So there's movie Mandela and there's real Mandela. And because today marks 100 years since his birth, I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the man, because he spoke about me on my birthday. Now, that's not true at all. Now, the first thing you need to know about Nelson Mandela is that his name was not Nelson.
When I went to school, the lady teacher, Miss Mdingane, asked, "What is your name?" I told her my African name, Kholehlas. She says, "No, I don't want that one. You must have a Christian name." So I say, "No, I don't have one." She says, from today, you are going to be Nelson. That's how I earned the name Nelson, not given by my parents.
Wow. Can you imagine how Mandela's parents must have felt? Their kid left the house as Rolihlahla and comes back as Nelson. Like, his dad must have been so mad. He'd be like, "They called you what? I'm calling your teacher right now. Hello? This is Gada Mandela. No, your name is Jeremy now. Ah, they got me too. Ah! Ah! Now, the reason Nelson Mandela had to have a Christian name is basically because back in the early 20th century, white people ran South Africa. So you couldn't have a name that they couldn't pronounce. Right? Even though they were only 20% of the population, they controlled the government, the land, the economy, everything. Yeah, it's kind of like how today all those no-gluten people have control of all of our menus. Yes, except in South Africa, the intolerance was real. So it was this oppression that pushed Nelson Mandela to join a revolutionary movement called the African National Congress. Right? He joined politics when he was just 26 years old, partly to fight racial inequality, and also because he had just been kicked off his parents' Obamacare. Now, at first, the ANC fought for racial equality peacefully, but the racist government only got more oppressive. In fact, in 1948, South Africa's government set up apartheid, which made legal racism the foundation of the entire country. Black people couldn't vote, they had to live in certain areas, and they were banned from playing sports with white people. And I'm not gonna lie, that last part I completely understand. Right? I mean, if your system is based on white supremacy, you can't have black people dunking all over your shit. It just doesn't go with the narrative. Be like, white people are superior. Ah, wait, I wasn't ready. In fact, the government became so oppressive that Mandela and the ANC decided to resort to violence. They bombed power stations, post offices, and I mean, they did it when people weren't in there, but still, they blew shit up. And there were many people, not just in South Africa, but around the world, who wanted him to respond to the brutality of the government with civility, to which Mandela replied, "Bullshit."
There are many people who feel that it is useless and futile for us to continue talking peace and non-violence against a government whose reply is only savage attacks on an unarmed and defenseless people.
Now, I know for a lot of people, seeing a young, radical Mandela, that's a bit of a shock. Yeah, it's like finding out one of the Care Bears mauled a hiker to death. So, I mean, I'd expect that out of Tenderheart, but you, Funshine? But you see, Nelson Mandela believed that violence was necessary to fight violent governments, and he paid a price for it. In 1962, when Mandela was 44 years old, the apartheid government arrested him and sentenced him to life in prison. And what he said in the docks is legendary. He said, "I've cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal which I hope to live and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." I mean, I'm prepared to die. But I don't want to die. I'm saying I'm prepared. Don't make me die. I'm just saying, like, prepared to die, but not die necessarily. Let's edit that part out. Just leave that. So Mandela went on to spend almost 30 years in prison. Yeah. And the longer he stayed in prison, the more Mandela became a legend around the world. By the 1980s, you had concerts around the globe to free Nelson Mandela. And you gotta admit, it's probably good that that teacher changed his name, because it would have been a lot harder for white people around the world to protest his freedom when they couldn't pronounce his name. If they were like, free, you know, let's just go save the whales, guys. Let's just go save the whales. Now, Nelson Mandela's story up to that point was impressive, but it's what he did after he came out of prison that transformed him from a leader to a legend. Right? Because when he became South Africa's first black president, he reconciled the country, and he insisted that white people be a part of it. Right? And you realize this is a black country, and he's the first black president. He could have easily just said, "I'll give you white people a 10-minute head start. You guys put me in prison for 30 years. I don't even know what a Walkman is. I just hope I get to meet Elvis." What? 5-minute head start. So you see, this is just part of why people like Barack Obama look up to Nelson Mandela. This was a man who grew up in a country steeped in racism, spent decades in prison fighting it, and then dedicated his life to a world of racial progress. And most impressively, when he was asked why he's not bitter, he had this to say.
You end up coming out of prison and there is no bitterness. How is there no bitterness?
Well, I hated oppression. And when I think about the past, the type of things they did, I feel angry. You have a limited time to stay on earth. You must try and use that period for the purpose of transforming your country.
That's why he's a legend. Happy 100th birthday, Madiba.